Is Iraq a threat to the United States that would allow it to act in self-defense of American interests?
The critical issue is the relationship between weapons of terrorist states with...
Though America took it off the list of terror states 20 years ago.
I don't know that.
When you visited Iraq and negotiated with Saddam Hussein, when America wanted Saddam Hussein for its own purposes, America took Iraq off the list of terrorist states and indeed supplied it with the wherewithal to make the chemical weapons they're now trying to remove.
They may have been taken off. I was a private businessman, and I did meet with Saddam Hussein. Whether or not the United States at some point decided to take him off a terrorist list, you may be right.
We're being diverted a bit here, but let's just go into this. Are you saying you don't know, you didn't know when you went there whether he was on the list of terrorist states or not? You were trying to reopen
I believe he
a
was.
relationship between the United States and Iraq.
That's right, and I believe he was on the list of terrorist states when I went there.
But you're not saying that you weren't aware that he was using chemical weapons because the Secretary of State at the time had said they were using them.
I was certainly aware of that. I didn't say I wasn't aware of that.
You went and talked to the man.
I did.
Say, well, now they're trying to get rid of the weapons, as Jesse Jackson put it when he was at Hyde Park Corner a week ago, for which the United States has the receipts. I mean, that's the problem, that you created this monster of evil as you know. You, the United States, not you personally.
J.D. Searle, the company which Mr. Rumsfeld was the managing director, sold Tabun gas to Saddam Hussein in 1981 and 82 and 83.
I don't know that. I believe he was on the list of terrorist states when I went there. I was certainly aware of that. I didn't say I wasn't aware of that. I don't know that.
One hears a lot of doubt cast on America's motives for this. America is seen as applying double standards in this, isn't it? I mean, using the UN against Iraq, for instance, and then you yourself saying, repeating 2 or 3 times in the context of Israel and the UN resolutions there, that the occupied territories on the West Bank are so-called occupied territories. That's the kind of thing that makes people think, well, actually, America's not serious about this. They're so pro-Israel. They're not, well, you said that.
Well, first of all, I did not repeat it 2 or 3 times.
You said it twice in the same series of remarks. You used the expression so-called.
Fair enough.
But is what you think, that they're so-called occupied, or do you think they're occupied and should be given up?
If it bothered you, then don't use it.
Not me it bothers, it's the other Arab states it bothers. I want to ask you about America's position in all this. The President has talked about the axis of evil. Do you, as Defense Secretary, then have plans for further military action, for instance, against Iran, perhaps?
There are a number of places in the Middle East where those terrorists are finding haven. But Iran is one of the countries.
You say
Iraq is one of the countries.
So Iran should be in your sights on those grounds.
I wouldn't use words like the hot button words like that, in your sights. I think that that's not the case. I like the way I answered your question just fine.
Can we come to where things stand at the moment? Aren't people, though, right to be suspicious, who aren't Americans, of one country, in effect, shaping the world to suit itself, to suit its own values?
Yeah.
What the President said, the course of this nation does not depend on the decisions of others. He said it.
Yeah.
Some of the history of the world and civilization was written by others. The rest will be written by us. I mean, there is a sort of American empire seeming to burgeon here in the language that's being used.
Interesting. I don't find it that way.
Arrived in Baghdad. It's 20 years since he was here last time, and that was to meet Saddam Hussein. Today, he told American soldiers they'd come to turn tyranny into freedom.
We want the Iraqi people to live in freedom.